Yo, 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 it's your boy Catch Red with Sunday Podcast, man. Hit that like button, comment below, subscribe if you got the time. We rocking out tonight. We're about to get this thing started as we all just wrapped up, the final, let's say the final interviews, right? The final press conference for the likes of Terence Bud Crawford, Canelo Alvarez. It's official now that the final little bit of business is done. Um, these two men are locked in, ready to go. We wrapped up the face off for both men. The press conference went as it went. It was a little cringe at times. Not going to lie to you guys, it was a little cringe here and there for just certain things that are being said and done. It's clear that this is Netflix is getting used to this thing. Dana White's getting used to these kind of big events for the likes of boxing, even though he's been with the UFC forever. It's clear that they got some things to work on as far as selling these big fights, selling these big mega events on Netflix and the sport of boxing, getting used to how they're going to do these new type of press conferences, right? The well-oiled machines of Top Ranks and PBCs are kind of used to how they run business over there, right? But all in all, I was satisfied with both press conferences, by the way, the undercard as well as Canelo and Terence Bud Crawford's main press conference there, the face-off that they had. Salute to Canelo Alvarez, true gentleman, shook the hand of Terence Bud Crawford at the end of the fight there, or sorry, at the end of the interview there, and showed much respect. Both fighters looked each other in the eye, stared each other down, and all I can say is we're going to have a great night of boxing, September 13th, 2025. Both of these gentlemen look locked in. Even the questions they got, they really just kept it cordial and kept themselves focused in on the fight at hand, right? Even when they were asked about retirement and it's probably being the last big fight they can have. Both men just said they're looking at this fight right now. Who knows about the future? Canelo was asked about Benavidez. He just left that alone and said he's turned down no fight, no fade. He will revisit that whenever the time comes. So with that said, overall great interview. Overall great product that they're going to bring, right? Again, a few things to work on. It did clarify some things in that fight, or sorry, I keep saying fight. I'm ready for that fight to happen. What it did clarify for us, though, was this. I clearly understand why Bud Crawford career kind of went the way that it went in the sport of boxing. And let me explain that. We had a question on one of our videos earlier. It was either early today or yesterday, where somebody made the comment about, well, if Crawford is so skilled and so great, why is it taking it to this event for his name to get known? And this being his coming out party, and now everybody's just recognizing who he is, if he's really that good as everybody says he is. And really the kickback to that is exactly what happened tonight. Crawford, outside the ring, isn't really made for TV like that. He's not the most flamboyant individual. He's not the most outspoken individual. He's not dressed to impress. He doesn't have the smart words, the witty comebacks, and all that. It takes him a little time. You can tell when he's just why he's at the press conference today. It took him a little minute on some things, and some things were a little cringe, and you could tell he's trying his best. That's just not him, and that's okay. You could tell he's really just a fighter, introvert at that. And it was clear tonight that's why his career suffered. But thank goodness this is the sport of boxing. Thank goodness this is the fight game, and this ain't a popularity contest. Don't get me wrong, the popularity side of things, it does make you more money and you get known a little bit better, but thank goodness he stuck with his skill set and honed that in. That actually speaks to how good he is. For how he's not outside the ring, he makes up for it inside the ring, and that's what got him in position today. But to hit on how the the press conference when he struggled a little bit here and there, and then he finally getting comfortable, got in his bag a little bit, right? But that is why his career has went the way it's went. He's just not that guy when it comes to the cameras, the lights, the action, the dress to impress, the wear. That is just not my man, Crawford, and that is perfectly okay. What we're going to see September 13, 2025 is two fighters, both him and Canelo, show up and put hands to task and mind to task. They're going to show up, show out, and give us a fight to remember. It was clear from the discussions today. They're both honed in. They're both skilled. They both look in shape. They both look ready to go, especially Saul Canelo Alvarez. Salute to him. I can't remember the last time I seen Canelo Alvarez come out to a final press conference or a press conference period in recent years since he's been the face of boxing. Not just in a wife beat. My brother Canelo Alvarez showed up in a black wife beater, meaning that he's ready to do business. He's ready to stand on business. He's ready to fight. He looked good. He looked in shape. He's letting the world see, at least his arms out and everything. He's in shape. Now, we're not surprised because Canelo Alvarez stays in shape. He's dedicated to the sport of boxing, which is something that he brought up in the interview tonight. That the only reason he's still here doing this thing 20 years in the game is because he loves the sport of boxing. He dedicates himself for the sport of boxing, in and out the ring, hard work, dedication to the sport. He loves this thing, and it's what makes it easy for him. It's hard work. It's a hard sport. But salute to Canelo for at least stating that he is dedicated to the sport because he loves what he does. Loves what he does. So anyway, that's pretty much the wrap up from the press conference, right? It was pretty much as you would expect. 70% of the questions pretty much went to Canelo Alvarez, both English and Spanish. 20% went to Crawford, and then about the remaining 10% got thrown at Dana with some disrespect from one of the interviewers, trying to call him out about the Muhammad Ali act, you name it. But all in all, decent interview. And I think we're going to get that fight that we expect to see September 13th, a great fight, a great night of boxing. But with that said, why are we here this evening? And it's going to be a short one. We're breaking down our final predictions, our final look at Crawford, Canelo, Crawford, however you want to say it. In this final prediction, we're going to do something a little different that we have not done before. We're actually going to do a little quick resume check on both fighters. I actually got the resumes in a different view. I'm going to pull it up for you here in a minute. It's going to be from 2019 to present. There's a reason we're going to walk through this resume, not to get into every fight, but more importantly, I'm going to break down the overall stats from the type of punchers they face, because we hear all this talk about knockouts and who can get knocked out and who not. So we're going to look at the type of punchers these two men have faced, what kind of chins they had to go up against, or meaning how much their chins were tested in their fights. And then last but not least, obviously the skill set, the average win ratio for the fighters that they faced over the last few years, which is 2019, the last 6 years. So before we get in that, hit that like button. It's free. Comment below. Subscribe if you got the time. Let me check something real quick before we go into that. All right, let's get into it. So if you haven't checked out a few of our other videos, right, and how we've been calling this thing, we'll be straight up with you. And nothing so far has changed for me. Even after the final press conference tonight, I'm still rocking with the draw. That's my final prediction for right now. And I guess I got to say that's my final prediction period, because I've been standing on that for the past week or so. And more importantly, we've already placed a bet on that. Now, whoever you placed your bet on, that's up to you. Now, one thing I will say for sure is I'm pretty certain this thing is going to go all the way. Now, knowing that this is boxing, anything can happen. I understand anybody can get knocked out. That's why I'm about to look at the chin ratio and the win ratio for both of these fighters here. We're going to break down these resumes real quick. So it can happen. This is boxing. If anybody gets knocked out, I guess Canelo will be the one doing the knocking out. No disrespect to Crawford. I just can't see the power there. But with that said, I still see it going all the way, all 12 rounds, and I just see the skill sets too close, too highly competitive, and it's just too many ways for both of these fighters to win. If you get what I'm saying, too many ways for them to win. I can't see either one of them losing, and more importantly, I just can't see either man getting stopped or knocked out. Too much heart in both of these warriors. You saw it tonight on display. Um, it is what it is. Hold on. Okay, but yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it's just too. I just can't see it, guys. I just can't see it. I can't see the knockout. I just can't see the knockout for either man, either fighter. Yes, I know they both got pop. They both got power. They're both used to knocking guys out. They're used to stopping guys. They're used to getting a TKO stop it, you name it. But either way, win, lose, or draw. I just can't see it. And with that said, I know I said win, lose, or draw, but if somebody wins, it'll be by decision. I see it all 12 round. But in this case, I'm still sticking with the draw. I just can't see it. Too many tools in the bag. This is a rare type of fight. Two great fighters, pound for pound, going up against each other. And more importantly, true fighters, true warriors, hearts of champions. Let's push this on over. So, hit that real quick. Post. Let's go. All right. So, hit that like button. It's free. Comment below and subscribe if you got the time. It's your boy Cash Road Sunday podcast. Let's get ready to rock out. We're going to go straight into it. Now, the final prediction for us, obviously, like we just said, draw. We got the draw still. But outside the draw, let's cut the music. Outside of that draw, there's the obvious case of I still got it 60-40, potential favorite for the likes of Canelo Alvarez to win this fight, right? He should be the favorite, better be the favorite. But I do weigh highly in on Crawford being able to take this thing by decision, box beautifully, box smart, be dialed in, be disciplined throughout this fight, more importantly, and just handle his business, handle what he has to do. It's still going to be tough, but I just can't. Not much I can say, man. It's just the draw is there. I know I'm rambling a little bit because I'm actually trying to get this thing to pull up, but management of the rounds, right? You've got, I think Crawford's going to start out strong, start out quick, not too fast, but quick to the center of the ring to kind of manage the pace of the fight early on. Establish that jab, that good stab jab to the body, right? And as he's doing that, he's going to, jab to that body, make Canelo drop his hands as much as he can anyways. And as Canelo's dropping his hands, let's change that up. And as Canelo's dropping his hands and trying to recenter himself, I think we'll see Crawford get good points to the head, good headshots, as I should say, and kind of steal them early rounds, kind of build up that momentum, build up them points. Trying to get this thing to change over for us. So as he's still in the round, still in the points, he's going to take those first few rounds, 1 through 3. They might split, one off on those. Canelo is going to kind of realize what's going on, finally catch the rhythm of Crawford, and then kind of pick his feet up. As he's picking his feet up, the power go away because he likes to have that wide stance. We broke this down on other videos before. But as he picks his feet up, starts moving around, he's going to start cornering Crawford in the neutral corners or against the ropes, keeping him away from instruction so he can't hear Bomac as well anyways. Kind of confuse him against the ropes, and as Crawford tries to refigure himself out, understand what Canelo's trying to do and this new cadence, as he's trying to circle out, get the angular movement off the ropes, out the corner, I think he'll get caught. Nothing to be hurt too bad, but just something that catches him nice and crisp. Could be a flash knockdown or just a quick, I feel that moment, if you get what I'm saying. The moment there is when I think Crawford will wake up because he's probably getting comfortable around this time frame because he's going to probably be boxing well, staying behind that jab, staying disciplined. But as he wakes up, and I know most people have been dialing in on that dog moment, right? Move this over. He's going to turn into that dog mode, right? That warrior mentality. And I think that will happen, but not the way that everybody's thinking it will. Meaning that usually when he turns into that dog mode, he gets a little sloppy, a little unhanded, a little careless. And fighting a guy like Canelo Alvarez that can actually get you hurt and knocked out, leaves yourself wide open, as Bud does get caught when he switches over into dog mode. With that said, I think as he gets clipped between rounds 6 and 7 heading on out, that will wake him up and get him centered, get him focused, get him re-energized back into this fight. And more importantly, letting him know how real this fight is and how strong Canelo is, which is heading to rounds 8 and 9. Halfway through 8, definitely by 9, that's when Canelo Alvarez usually takes his dip in stamina. Watch any fight that he's had, he takes a good dip. The power's still there, but he takes a dip in stamina. And as they're trying to split those 2 rounds out, I think that's when Crawford starts to get his confidence back, because between 4 through 6, he's kind of going down a little bit, trying to understand if he's what he's witnessing and can he really truly continue to handle this power from Canelo Alvarez and the new movement that he's seeing. But round 8 and 9, his stamina should outlast and be able to open up some new doors and new avenues of approach for him to steal points away from Canelo Alvarez, especially heading into rounds 10, 11, and 12. Now, Canelo's still going to be strong. His power never goes away. Let's make sure that's clear. Power never goes away, and he can clip you at any moment. But the output becomes a little lackluster for Canelo in those back half of the rounds, especially heading to the championship rounds. This is where Crawford's going to have to make or break himself, because by this standpoint, he'll probably be down on the cards. But in that back half, at least still in rounds 10 and definitely making a staple in round 12, is where he can get this thing back and actually break even and get this thing to a draw victory, right? That's where we're leaving it at anyways. Again, started strong early in the first quarter of this fight. Canelo's going to control the middle, I should say, and then the back half going to Crawford as that stamina starts to, lean out. Either way, win, lose, or draw, when you get to a 114 cards, I'm going to call it, and I'm calling it early. As we already said, our final prediction is still the draw. Just can't see either one of these fighters losing this fight. Too many tools in the bag. But let's say we get a 115, 113, right? Honestly, and we all score it, because we're going to score it live. Rock out with us when we get there. We'll have the scorecards up and everything. Do we think the business of boxing really is going to do either one of those fighters a favor? What do I mean by that? Canelo Alvarez, the face of boxing, you heard it tonight in the interview. Turki Al-Sheikh's invested well over $100 million with the likes of Canelo Alvarez. If it's 115, 113 in favor of Terence Crawford, do you really think they're going to let that go to waste? Let that $100 million plus investment with 3 more fights left on the docket go down for that? Now, obviously, if they did let that happen, it'll obviously go straight to a rematch so you can get that get back, right? And it'll be even bigger fights than go to Mayo 2026. And then the vice versa for Bud Crawford, right? 115, 113 favorite Canelo. Do you think Riyadh season, powers that be, are going to let their main man, Terence Bud Crawford, who's been loyal to the brand, helping promote them, really take that tough of a loss, right? That early loss, and potentially finish out his career, right? No. The business of boxing, if it's a close decision victory, the business of boxing will do what the business of boxing does best and take care of what? The business of boxing. If they allow this thing to be a draw, you have the rematch on the docket with both records unscathed as far as this feud or whatever the hell you want to call it, this fight matchup goes. Or you have 2 revenue streams of Canelo got out it with the Crawford fight. Most people probably thought he won, got that draw. Either way, he goes on and takes on the likes of Bivol, goes up there for that undisputed fight to get that get back at the 175-pound division. They can still sell that fight big. At the same time, sell Crawford off to go fight the likes of Boots Ennis, who's been in the sparring camp with Canelo Alvarez, or take on some of the other 154-pound contenders down there, especially now you got Virgil, Boots about to get it on, so you can take on that winner, Sebastian Fundora, Keith One-Time Thurman about to get it on. There's some good action going down at the 154-pound division that he could drop back down and get some big money fights and big names, especially daring to be great and coming out with a draw against the likes of Canelo Alvarez. Follow me. The business of boxing is going to take care of the bottom line. There's well over $150 million just about invested in this fight alone. They got to get some money back out of this and definitely set up the next big things that's going to come back and pay them back for this fight. Now, they made some money back off the gate, but there's still a lot left to be done, right? They got to get the advertisement dollars. They got to get the butts and seats actually there. They got to get the concessions and all that. Saying all that to say, if it's close and what we know about the history, what we've seen happen in the sport of boxing, we've seen this before, where it's a tight fight, two big names, two big warriors. Especially, we've seen this before in Canelo fights. They'll push for a draw. Add that with too many ways to win. Add that with too many ways these fighters just can prove themselves, can't lose. And on top of that, the will of champions. So you just can't see either of these fighters getting knocked out, bending that knee and going out a bad way, right? TKO stoppage, knockout stoppage, you name it. I just can't see it. So based on the skill set, I can't see it. And then based on how we've seen the business of boxing do, and definitely what we watched tonight on the final press conference, you can't tell me they're not all in on the results of this fight. Now, they want to see a good fight. And then I think that's what we're going to get. We're going to get two true warriors. It's going to give us a show. February 13th. I'm sorry, February. Rewind it all the way back. September 13th, 2025. We're going to get a dang good show from two good fighters, future Hall of Famers, pound for pound. And then we're going to let the chips lay where they lay. But again, my final prediction here is going to be a draw based on the skill set, based on just the tool bags that these both men carry. Now, let's get into something a little different. The resume. Now, if you read the title, we said we're going to do final predictions and resume check for both fighters. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Summary of this is we're going to focus in on, we hear a lot about the knockout. But we're going to focus on something I like to look at for fighters, right? We can always see who can punch, right? But to me, that's half the story. When we just talk about their knockout ratio, meaning Canelo's and Crawford's, you name it, name any fighter that's got a good high knockout ratio. To me, that's half the battle. Yeah, it shows that you got popped, but let's understand the punching power that you received. What kind of knockouts were your guys doing? Because I know we hear a lot about Canelo's chin, but what kind of knockout ratio were the guys giving him that he had? Yeah, he's fighting bigger guys, but what kind of pop did they really have at their size? And the same thing for Crawford. What kind of knockouts were they doing? What kind of pop did they have? What kind of power did they have? So we're going to walk through that real quick. And then the last thing is based on the skill set, right? What was the winning percentage for these guys that they faced? Since 2019, over the last 6 years, let's compare that real quick and just see what the resumes look like. Now, before we get into it all the way, you know what? We're going to bring it up because we're going to talk about quality as well, because somebody's going to argue about, well, what about the quality? Well, what about the quality? Let's talk about it. Get this thing to pull up. Hit that like button. It's free. Hit that like button. It's free. Comment below and subscribe if you got the time. It's your boy Kaz wrote Sunday podcast, man, rocking out impromptu, doing a quick run of how we will be looking on Saturday. Keep wanting to say February, September 13th, 2025, as we get ready to call the fight live. This is our normal setup. And then, if you've been rocking out with us, we have our phone set up as well. So we appreciate that love and appreciate all the comments and support that everybody's been giving. Let's get into it. All right. Tapping in here. Crawford Canelo's past few opponents since 2019. Let's see. Since 2019, we're going to bring up the list, and there's going to be a few things that's clearly obvious to you. Clearly sticks out. The first things first is activity. I think we all kind of know that. But yes, the activity of Crawford compared to Canelo is starking. But when you actually take a look and really just put it next to each other, just put them next to each other, you can clearly tell that one man has been putting hands on people over the last 6 years. I mean, clearly he's been fighting. Clearly he's been just the key word active in the ring, staying ready, getting ready. And the other guy's only been fighting, as you can see, pretty much about once a year since 2019. Now, that can still be considered somewhat active, if you want to say that, but it's nowhere near active as a man who's been fighting twice a year. And Canelo's been doing that. And he's actually fought 3 times in one of those cycles. That activity keeps him ready at all times, keeps him active, keeps him mobile, keeps him prepared for any type of fight, keeps him ready to throw hands at any given moment, right? So we got a guy like Terence Crawford, again, 6 fights or so in from 2019, and clearly you can see the longer resume of Canelo Alvarez. It's almost kind of unfair to share, but we're going to do it anyway. So we're going to get into, what we talked about, the chin. The chin ratio for both of these men, meaning what kind of punching power did these men face? So over the last 6 years or so, Terence Crawford actually faced the higher puncher knockout when they face these individuals, I should say. 67% knockout ratio is his, on average of all his opponents that he faced, meaning Terence Crawford versus 65% knockout ratio for the likes of Canelo Alvarez. Highest knockout ratio that I believe either man faced was about 80%, if I'm not mistaken. And I know it's a little small. Yep, 80% by the likes of the Green Machine for Terence Crawford, and actually 85% for the likes of Sergey Kovalev. But with all the fights that they had, and we could pick the last few fights of last year if we wanted to, but it's just not enough there for Crawford. So that's why we had to go back to 2019. All in all, 67% versus 65%. That's actually pretty good, right? I would expect something, for the average fighter, especially good power punchers or big name fighters, are probably average around 40 to 50% KO ratio as far as the opposition that they face, especially when they're coming up building that brand. But more importantly, we're looking at the tail end of these two fighters' career, the last 5 to 6 years. These guys have really been keeping it even. These two men have both faced pretty much even power punchers throughout their last few years. Win ratio, meaning how good were these guys that they fought? How many losses did they take? They're both right within like 1% of each other. 96% ratio for the likes of Terence Crawford and 95% for the likes of, 95% for Terence Crawford, 96% for Canelo Alvarez, meaning the fighters that they face were pretty much top tier of their time, or at least had decent records. Now, that doesn't speak about everything because, you could have picked somebody off early, or the quality wins that they had, you name it, didn't have the skill set. For example, let's look at an Edgar Berlanga. Really isn't rated high. But all in all, without breaking down resume for resume, going through each fighter, because each fighter could be picked apart, right? We can go through both of these fighter resumes and really just pick them apart, especially over these last 6 years, and say that this fighter was this kind of way, this fighter was that kind of way, you name it. But without getting into all of that, just looking at the basics, looking at the high level, looking at the numbers, looking at the high level average of the resume, you can actually say that both of these men in their respective weight classes have actually faced fair, similar opposition, both in punching power and both in skill set. Now, with the punching power, obviously in two different weight classes, that's what everybody's arguing about. Terence Crawford jumping up 2 weight classes to take on the likes of Canelo Alvarez. So you could almost weight those power punchers maybe a little bit higher because they're probably hitting harder than the guys that Terence Crawford faced. But at the same time, it's pound for pound, right? We're just going to keep it where it is. We're going to say if you raise that man up in size, then yes, they could punch just as hard as the likes of the guys that Canelo Alvarez have faced. But all in all, here we are. 67% to 65% knockout ratio is the type of opponents that both of these men have faced. 96 to 95% win ratio. That's the type of opposition that both of these men have faced over the last 6 years. They're equal. The equal opposition that they have faced states that these two men are at the highest caliber. They have been taking on at least good to top quality competition within their weight classes. That is why we still have this fight being a draw, because these two men not only themselves have the skills to pay the bills, not only do they have multiple ways to win this fight, but both of these men, Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford, have been fighting top opposition within their weight class that has been available. More importantly, they've been fighting guys who can crack and who can punch in their weight class. Maybe not the hardest puncher in their weight class, but on average, the top, let's say top 5 or so punchers within their weight class, speaking to the 67%, almost near 70% knockout ratio of the opposition that they have faced. This further pushes the envelope of why I see this fight going 12 rounds. Like we said before, I just can't see this fight, for whatever reason, being a stoppage or TKO stoppage, right? Both of these men have fought, again, good power punchers within their weight class, top opposition within their weight class, meaning 96% win ratio is what they fought, meaning most of the guys were either undefeated or only had one loss. The skill level is there. We're going to see a chess match between two current pound for pound fighters, future Hall of Famers. They're going to get into a stalemate, get into what we call just a back and forth, a good old fashioned boxing match. And it's going to end up being a stalemate and a draw, in my opinion. That's what we're going with. That's our final prediction based on the resumes that we've seen, based on the output both men have done, based on the skill set that both of these men have displayed over their entire career. Both of these men have been fighting well over 20 years and have really just showed us what boxing is truly supposed to be and how it is. And you saw tonight on the final press conference, Canelo Alvarez looks ready. He looks really ready. Came out in the black wife beater, like we said earlier, in shape, cut already. He looks good, meaning business. I don't know the last time I've seen him ever step out, not just a wife beater, but a black wife beater at that, all blacked out. I mean, he looked professional, yet dangerous. And the same thing for Crawford. He looked focused as well, as both of the men stared each other in their eyes, stared each other in the face, and shook hands at the end because they both mean business. They're both focused on this fight. Both are about the same size, as you saw them staring each other down in that final face-off. Of outside of probably a little bit of denseness, meaning Canelo's going to be the thicker fighter, the stronger fighter for sure. They're really pretty much the same size. Crawford, just about an inch height, inch on reach. So it's not crazy as far as the attributes and as far as the attribute disadvantage, but the weight will be there. The power will be some difference. But I don't think it'd be anything different than what Crawford's probably seen before, meaning maybe not in the professional ring, but definitely throughout his years of fighting and sparring and where he's been at in the sport of boxing. These guys have been fighting bigger guys throughout the sparring career, all these years. Over the 20-year career, they spar heavy. They fight heavy. They've been around big names. They've been through, from Olympics to amateurs to professional bouts, climbing the ranks. They've had to do a lot of work to get where they're at. So I think neither one of these fighters are going to see anything different that they haven't seen before. But what will be different is how they implement their game plan throughout the fight. It's going to be a chess match. It's going to be a battle of the minds. in a battle of who can carry through the instructions from the corner to a T and adjust throughout the fight as they need to, and more importantly, sway the judges and keep the, I'm not going to say keep the crowd in favor, because the crowd's going to be in favor of Canelo Alvarez regardless. It is his show. It is his crowd. It is his venue. But more importantly, sway the judges and keep them focused on the good work that they're doing, because there's going to be a lot of missed work. I can tell you, become Sunday, September 14th, 2025, once this fight is said and done, we're all going to look back and there's going to be a lot of missed work in there. A lot of things that weren't scored for the other fighter. And we're going to all go back and forth, both sides, whether you're Canelo fan or Terence Crawford fan or just neutral. We're all going to look at this fight and we're going to see 20 different ways to have scored this fight, which even further pushes where I'm going with my final prediction of, when you have this type of skill set, too many ways to win, too many different opinions on how to win a fight, different judges scoring this thing all the way out. It's when you're usually going to end up with a good old-fashioned draw. But that's our take on it. That's our final prediction. We did the resume breakdown real quick. We're probably going to check out real quick. We just did a quick pop-up on here, really testing out the screens and everything that we need for Saturday. We will be live. Rock out with us, live fight chat, September 13, 2025, as the fight's going blow by blow. We'll have our live scorecards up, full in effect, scoring it round by round as we get through that Canelo Alvarez Crawford fight, so you can see how we're scoring it live. And then more importantly, just rock out with us, man. Hit that like button. It's free. Comment below, subscribe. We appreciate that love. We might get on a little bit later tonight, do our impromptu, like off the phone type cuff, and do a quick wrap up on that. But all in all, appreciate you rocking out. It's your boy Cash Ropes 98 Podcast. Till the next time. Peace.